Hello, everyone. Welcome to our community spotlight at Hibernian Hall. My name is Olawumi Akinwumi. I am Hibernian Hall Director. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Cassandra Campbell. She is the founder and owner of Fresh Food Generation. Before I do that, I would love to come on and give her a proper introduction. This is our eighth interview, our eighth guest, and partner who's been working with Hibernian Hall in the community. So we're going to basically continue this to our summer weekly series. Cassandra is a Roxbury resident and became a food justice advocate while working at the Food Project as a teenager. Many seasons as youth leader, she graduated from Swarthmore College with a BA in economics and returned to the organization as a youth coordinator. Eager to learn how cities can best help communities access resources, she pursued a degree in urban planning at MIT. After graduating in 2011, she worked in affordable housing development, but was soon drawn back to the world of food. Cassandra came up with the idea of Fresh Food Generation out of desire to find out more real food options in her own neighborhood. So there you have it, everybody. I'm going to bring on Cassandra and I'm going to have her introduce. Hello, welcome.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
how you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. Please excuse the mask. I'm in a building that requires it.
Yes, you're following the COVID safety rules.
Absolutely.
So yes, I just gave a nice little intro, and yes, as you come along, I mean, I know the connection that we have through your catering service with Hibernian Hall, but yeah, let's just start, and you can tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes. Co-founder of Fresh Food Generation, Roxbury resident, born and raised. Um, I always hesitate to describe our business pre and post COVID
Mm-hmm.
because we're still in the process of pivoting. But we are a farm to plate food truck, catering business, and cafe. We started about 5 years ago with our truck in Dudley Square and have since expanded. So our truck now does different community events and we cater for everyone in Boston. I always say ranging from Rosie's Place to the Boys and Girls Club to Microsoft Office.
Mm.
So we get to share our food with a wide range of people. And then our cafe, which is not currently open, is within Dot House
Wow.
on Dorchester Ave. And it's a small little area, but it's given us a great opportunity to share our food with people who are visiting the doctors and are maybe getting encouraged to eat a little bit healthier and are willing to try something. So that's us in a nutshell. Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And I mean, I also remember you back in the days when I was also involved in youth work. So it's amazing how far you've gone now, especially owning your own business and as a Black woman. So wanted to give you a shout out on that one. And yes, thanks for joining us. So yeah, with that, it's a funny story how we can just move right in before COVID even happened, or we even knew that it was like coming along our way. You just helped finish a nice catering job for Hibernian Hall's Art on the Rocks performance series. Um, so I feel like that was like a memorable moment where folks who were at that event could remember the food that they've eaten and the last public event that I believe, or I don't know, you can tell
Yeah,
me.
it was. I'm so glad that we had a chance as a caterer to have that last one memory
Mhm.
because I think that our food brings people together. And we have a package called Let's Eat Together.
Mm.
And that was the package that we used for the event. And I just remember, some members of my staff being there and dancing as we were serving the food and
You gotta
really
do
enjoying the work of the kids and yeah, just being able to convene with people.
it.
I
Mhm.
think as a business owner, the first sadness was wait, like we can't operate in business anymore. right? And then the second level of sadness was, oh my God, like all the community groups that we were serving and were going out of their way to organize people and create a better space. The reason we don't have any business is because they're not able
Mhm.
to do what they need to do. And so I just look back at that event and I feel like it was a strong example of the strength of our community.
Mhm.
And so, as a caterer, it's an honor to be able to partake in that and contribute to it in some way, even if it is just a.
Right. And at least also that was something where I feel like Madison Park, Hibernian Hall was able to contribute into, you know, the pockets of a black owned business and with food. And that
Yeah,
just shows our support and continuously with all the artists that we're working on, especially due to this pandemic. So now, thank you for that. And how would you identify your art? And I say that in a way because, even if you are providing people great, healthy foods, but what would be your artistic movement of how you identify yourself?
that's a really good question, and one that I don't think I've ever got asked that
Mm.
because I'm not a typical artist. So I am not the head chef at Fresh Food Generation. I can cook, but we also have an amazing chef, and he does a great job of leading the kitchen team and coming up with new recipes. Um, however, you know, there is an artistry involved in business. It's knowing your customer base.
Yep.
It's supporting and knowing your employees. It's being able to move with the market. It's being able to be the jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing how to do some finance stuff, knowing how to, at least be a sous chef, at least be in the kitchen. Sometimes I'm the delivery driver. So, and then I'm the marketing person. So there's definitely an art to being a business owner and sort of being able to adapt yourself to meet the needs of the business and meet the people that you're serving. So whether that's your customers or your employees, both of them, you are serving in some form or way, and you have to be able to do
I agree. Thank you. Well said. And I mean, these questions are here to help pick our minds and think outside the box. Because you wouldn't think that, oh, because I don't perform or share a poem. But I feel like in every craft and every work that we do is being an artist because you have to come up with a great menu that people will like,
that.
and if it's healthy, something that people will want to consume into their body. So
Yeah.
yes, I definitely commend you are as an artist, and
Yeah.
advocating for good food is also artistry as well. So I think we already know what our relationship is about together at Hibernian Hall. But do you even have like past memories that you can share that, just being in the space?
Yeah. I think just entering Hibernian Hall, something good is about to happen, right? It's that feeling of like, oh, I'm about to be entertained.
Mhm.
So we've done a lot of events at Hibernian Hall, including I think the first case of Oxford.
Yep.
Yep. That's where we got started, and it was a great place for us to like pilot our food and like get feedback directly from the community. And over time, actually, before we even really launched as a business officially, I got a chance to pilot our food there and get direct feedback. So
Mhm.
our roots are definitely connected to Hibernian Hall. Um, and interestingly enough, um, it was our we were at Hibernian Hall, or I should say the building recently because Friends of Children is there. Um, and so for anyone who doesn't know Friends of Children, they are a nonprofit that works with youth and their mission is to eliminate generational poverty.
Mhm.
And so we've been working with them on emergency food relief. And so we've turned the parking lot every once a week into a food distribution slot.
Right.
And so it was nice since one of our last events was at Hibernian Hall to be able to serve people in another part of the building and
Mhm.
just like be reconnected to that space.
Definitely. You definitely have been doing a lot of connecting. Was it Project Hip Hop that you used to work? Was it?
No, not me.
Okay. For
I
some
was
reason.
just stuck with them.
But yeah, so and then doing all of this, like, where did you get your inspiration from?
Yeah, it like I feel like part of it was selfish. Like I wanted to be able to eat good food um in my neighborhood. And I think we have some good options and I think that it continues to grow over time and it's been
Mhm.
amazing to see in the last 5 years how the food entrepreneur community has grown in Rockford, right? You
Yep.
know, we have Belly Cafe, we have Haley House, we have Soleil, the list goes on. And I would say 5 years ago, we didn't have all those options. And
Hmm.
10 years ago, we didn't have that. When I was growing up, I went to school at O'Brien High School and I lived in Upton's Corner. So I used to walk from Upton's Corner to O'Brien High School every single day. And, you know, this was early 2000s. This was before Madison Park had sort of built all the housing along that strip and there was a lot of vacant lots.
Hmm.
And this was before the bowling building had been redeveloped. This was before there was a Haley House. And so for me, the inspiration of freshman generation of having grown up in that environment was really wanting to continue to see change in my neighborhood and continue to have healthier options. And you know, had a chance to live in Cambridge, had a chance to live in other parts of the country and other cities, and you know, even travel and live in Ghana for 6 months,
Hmm.
and just seeing that like there's healthier, ready to eat, delicious, right? Most importantly, delicious food options available in these parts. Why can't we have it too?
Right.
Right?
Agree.
Agree. So
And
I am thankful to be a part of the path of a lot of other food entrepreneurs in the space who are trying to redefine, I call it our foodscape um, in Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan.
I mean, it's interesting. We're still trying to advocate more because sometimes it's like folks would feel uncomfortable to go to places like Whole Foods and like Trader Joe's, and it's like all in like far out parts of the town where you know, and having a great idea is that to have something locally in our neighborhood where we can feel great to just share. You know, if I want a smoothie or a nice like a vegan food or cookies or bakeries, like you would be the connection to that. And how's that been working? I mean, what would you say would be like the biggest challenge um, during this time?
Yeah, so we were in an interesting situation that like prior to COVID, we were looking for our own space um, that went beyond the small cafe space that we had at Dot House and went beyond the food truck because the food truck moved from spot to spot. We wanted somewhere that was central, that was big enough so that our customers could come in and order the kale salad, order the jerk chicken, get
Hmm.
some vegan cookies from Sparks, right? Some of the people that we work with. Um, and then COVID happened, and that sort of search was on halt.
Hmm.
So we decided as a business that like we're using this opportunity to double down, right? We're taking we're leaning into our faith that
Yep.
this will eventually pass, and that as a business we were meant to be around, and that we had enough supporters prior to COVID that continuing down the path of finding a space makes sense, and that people actually might need it even more now that everyone's home and not going to work, that having something in the neighborhood, an
Hmm.
additional option in the neighborhood, is going to be of use to people.
Thank you. I mean, speaking of that, I would definitely love to show the clip of the emergency food relief that you did with Dimick,
Yeah.
to show everyone at least example of one of the projects you've been doing within the community. So right now, I will share my screen. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right.
So that clip is when COVID when COVID first hit, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Foundation reached out to us and said, "Hey, there's a lot of people who are needing food right now. We would love if you could partner with Dimick Health Center to provide food to 125 families twice a week
Mm,
for 3 months." And so that was a clip of our setup. And honestly, it was a very healing experience for
mhm,
everyone involved. These 125 families were part of Dimick's Head Start program. So they were sending their kids there on a regular basis. And when things shut down, obviously the kids couldn't go, but it also meant that some of the meals that the kids were getting, some of the amenities like free diapers that the parents were getting were no longer
mhm,
available to them. And so what we did was we worked with the staff at Dimick to set up a drive-through, which was a crazy experience in of itself, especially at the start of COVID. But essentially, families would come through in their car. We would hold up a sign that said, "Pop your trunk." We
mhm,
would take down their diaper size. We would take down the amount of people in their family, and then we would load the back of their vehicle with a bag of fruits, a bag of pantry goods like rice, beans, oatmeal,
nice.
um, some prepared food items, and then diapers. And so essentially, it was enough for a family of 4 or 5 to have 3 days worth of food.
Hmm.
Um, and we did this twice a week for 3 months. And so, um, really glad that we had the opportunity to stay busy and stay active.
Hmm.
Emergency food relief can be sad, but at the same time, glad that we could serve people during this
That's amazing. I didn't realize that, and that's the thing. A lot of us are not really knowing like what's out there and who's doing
time.
what, and just even doing something as small as that is something really big. And
Yeah,
so I'm glad that you were able to help families that were part of their program, because it is hard. That was a hard thing for daycare. I mean, even you were just talking about earlier how my son is in daycare now, and that was a lot. So now it's like getting them used to the whole structure piece of being away from home.
yeah. And it gave us a chance to welcome back our staff, um, which is a big deal for us.
Most definitely. I mean, what would you say would be your biggest accomplishment or greatest, however you want to?
Um, Honestly, like making it as I think our journey is still continuing. I did not realize how hard our journey was going to be, or
Mm-hmm.
the amount of barriers for people of color in starting their own business, like people who have grown up in disadvantaged neighborhoods and
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily have the same resources as other people, and women. And so, like, as a Black woman from Roxbury, I had no idea how hard it was going to be to launch this business. And we are in our 5th year, and we're finally at a point where, even in a pandemic, we know it's right to continue on the path of finding our own space. And we
Mm-hmm.
know that we built a strong customer base thanks to the Madison Parks, thanks to the Hibernian Halls who have supported us, so we can continue going.
Most definitely.
So my
All right.
biggest accomplishment has been staying in business.
Good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is a big accomplishment because
Yeah.
a lot of businesses are closing,
Yeah.
and and that definitely changes the feel of the neighborhoods. I mean, my home of where I usually do my events is gone, so now it's like now I got to re-strategize like where things are gonna go. Where's my go-to place to be? Now we have to figure out a whole way of thinking of how we interact with ourselves in the public.
Yeah. And I use the word like staying in business lightly. It means that, prior to COVID, we had a team of 12 people, right? 12 full-time
Hmm.
people 12 families, but those are families that we're supporting. And then, you know, our staff count did reduce, but we're still able to make sure that we're providing for our current team. Or the farmers that we're buying our food from. Like we buy our food from the Food Project. We buy our food from the Farming Institute. So a lot of farmers of color in the Boston area. So when you're buying food from a restaurant, that dollar goes to lots of people. So I'm
Gotcha.
very proud of that.
That's good because now we're recycling the dollars within the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. And I mean, are there things that we should be paying attention right now? Like any like projects that you have working on, or
Yeah,
any,
so
you know?
we are actually doing a fundraiser right now. So we have partnered with the Food Project. The Food Project has a farm on Dudley Street,
Yep.
and they have said that this year they are growing as much food as possible. So instead of retracting or being afraid, they decided to go full steam ahead. And so they are growing food in the Dudley neighborhood, but also in Lincoln and North Shore. And they are donating all that food to people who need it during COVID. So
Wow.
we've partnered with them to feed East Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And East Boston has been one of the hardest hit communities within Boston um, with the highest COVID rates. And a lot of people who can't get access to traditional support systems because of their immigration status. So the Food Project has been dropping off vegetables to us, and we've been putting it in grocery bags. But we've also been preparing it into meals and then
Okay.
delivering it to East Boston. Um, and so we're running a campaign. It's on our website. $5 buy someone a meal, and also supports our kitchen too.
Thank you. Yes, and if you ever, please feel free to share that on our website or send that to me. We always love sharing all these social justice events to keep everything circulating. It's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and would you say anybody in your lifetime had influenced you um, that you may have seen, or any of your peers that are doing similar work as you?
Yeah, I've had so many people. This is gonna sound cliche, but I'm going to say my mom.
Hmm. Oh no, not at all. Where does it start?
Yeah, my mom migrated from Jamaica here when she was in her 20s, and she didn't really know anyone in the Boston area. She didn't have family here, and she um, managed to still be a person who likes to give, and so she's raised kids. Um, she's chosen to raise kids that are not her own, who I call my brother and my sister, and she
Mhm.
just has the biggest heart, and so that sense of not being selfish or giving or just genuine generosity comes from my mom, and so she's been the biggest inspiration.
That's great. That's beautiful. Yes, I mean it hits home in the soul. Like where else would you get the ambitious and
Yeah.
creative ideas, and being able to share a little taste of the recipe to the world?
I like
It's
that. That
always
was
a
a good
great way.
one.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
good
Because
one.
you don't want to give everything away, but a little taste. So, what would be your I guess I asked like this one little question, like your professional superpower.
Um, I think I was talking about it like before, I am lucky in the sense that like I have been able to fill in different gaps in my company,
Mm-hmm.
depending on when we needed it. So um, I've been the bookkeeper, I've been the chef. Um, Once in a while, I get an email from someone, and they'll be like, "Oh, the delivery driver was like really nice. She was really professional." And I'll just be like, "That was me."
I know that is funny. You do answer all the emails.
Yeah, and so that's been being able to adapt and play different roles has been really helpful. And I actually I love it. I love being able to switch into something or hop into the kitchen or drive food to a customer, right? Like I love being the dishwasher. Sometimes when we're overbooked, I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and wash these dishes and help the kids
Excuse
out.
me.
And it's just as simple as that. We can listen to the music, I'll wash the dishes, and then I'll go do the bookkeeping.
Oh, they must love you as a boss.
So sort of kind of depends on the day. That's the thing.
But it's good to be. I feel like it is good to be hands on because not at least you know the in and outs of the business and what it takes to be successful.
Yeah,
So the whole point of having a good solid team that understands your vision.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, I mean not everybody's gonna have the same kind of superpower, but a lot of folks have said similar things where they wish you can just travel back in time or have more of them at once or uh, read minds. Some interesting things of how you could have a supernatural power to imagine how it make you a better person.
Yeah, and I think working on not being super is as equally important.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an amazing team, and I'm very thankful for them, and they work really hard, and they're the reason we were able to pull off 3,000 meals a day without having a permanent home. So a week,
Yeah,
sorry, 3,000 meals a week. We're not
and
there.
and with the amazing team. So, what do you guys do to self care?
So we have family meal. That's like a daily ritual for us. And if you've worked in the food industry, you'll know that like in some places, family meals is a thing, but in a lot of places it's not. Like you get charged a
Mm-hmm.
percent, like it's like you get 30% off eating it, right? Like no, like as a team, we have family meal together. We try to celebrate our successes. We celebrate everyone's birthdays, little things like that. Uh,
Nice.
on a personal level, I'm getting better at self care, but I do like to walk, I like to run, I like to bike, and trying to just like incorporate that into my daily life.
Definitely. And what advice would you be able to give people out there, just being a business owner, a woman of color, and just being able to survive through this?
Um,
No.
it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you have to be okay with that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And at some point, you have to learn to accept it and love it, and not compare your journey to other people because it's never going to be that, right? And so just remember that like life is beautiful, and even if we were to go out of business tomorrow, which I don't think is the case, but if we were to go out of business tomorrow, like I'm happy that I knocked out a couple of billions, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
whether it was like through making mistakes or through success, like all those things are important. So really just to, appreciate and love the journey as hard as it is, because you're making change.
Thank you. There you have it, everyone. I mean, is there anything else you'd love to share with us? Things that we need to know.
Um, no, we're still here. We are going to be doing home deliveries. So what that means is we'll drop off a monthly package, and it's going to have jerk chicken, curried lamb, kale salad, collard greens, bean stew. You can, stick it in your freezer, pull it as you need it. So for all the moms or anyone who's just like, I can't cook anymore, I'm tired, um, you'll have your fresh food generation package.
Nice. So it's like a prep meal package.
Yes, and but it also includes like value added products. So we'll have sweet teas, we'll have Clark's vegan cookies, we'll have Hillside Harvest hot sauce. So these are all local Black owned companies in the area, as well as a produce box from Urban Farming Institute. So
Oh,
instead of doing Amazon Prime and getting your stuff like from Whole Foods or something like that, you can get some produce and value added goods and prepare meals.
yes. Our friend over here asked business address and number.
So our phone number is 617-602-7185. We do have a website. It's freshfoodgeneration.com. And we are working on getting a brick and mortar space that people can actually visit. Right now, we're working from ghost kitchens.
Let me see if I put the website right now.
Yeah.
.com. www.freshfoodgeneration.com.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. freshfoodgeneration.com. I love this platform. So I'll leave it up there for you guys. Yes, please link up with Miss Cassandra Campbell. She is a local resident of our lovely Nubian Square. It's great to always support our brothers and sisters and what they're doing. I appreciate you coming on this interview with me today, talking about who you are and about Fresh Food Generation and how we can all work together. So we are definitely looking forward to, as we surpass this, little hump. I'll put that in words, little hump on the road, that we will all come back together and be swarming each other's arms and embracing food and having the economy go right back up. But this is also a great time to digress, think strategically, and come up with a plan of how we can become better as we are developing our neighborhood and our minds and our soul.
Absolutely.
All right. So
thank you for inviting
us.
us.
No problem. Everyone have a great afternoon. Stay tuned for next week.